Gemini, my name is Tanya and I'm going to be doing a month ahead tarot reading for you. I'm going to pull 5 cards plus a card from the bottom of the deck, and once I've done that, I'm going to pull an oracle card from this deck, which is The Secret of Wandwood. I'm going to read it intuitively, and then I'm also going to read the full entry from the book, which I've been enjoying. So we'll get to that at the end. For now, let's see what we have for tarot for Gemini for the month of January. Okay, let's go. We have the 5 of Chalices, the 3 of Swords, the 2 of Wands, the Wheel of Fortune, and all right, yes, I'm going to fuss until it's perfect enough for me. All right, now I'm going to look at these and see what pops through intuitively, or what messages I get from my guides, and then we'll start in on each card. Well, okay, so what's coming through is you're not going to get your way in some situation. There's something that you may really be wanting. It's just not going to turn out the way that you're expecting it to, which is probably not going to make you happy. But the circumstances are going to lead to some positive change toward the end of the month. But you're still going to have that frustration as we go into this new year, as we go into January. And it's a little bit about accepting what happens and recognizing that you can't change it, or the only way to change it is just to move forward down your path, doing what you need to do for you, and not involving anybody else in that. Okay, let's get into each of the cards. So we are starting out here with the 5 of Chalices. 5s can be challenges or competition or something that challenges us and causes, it's like a bump in the road. It's a test, if you will, to see if you're really ready for the next step, for something to happen. And chalices are going to be about our emotions, our intuition, and our feelings. A lot of times this is where we are so focused on something that happened in the past, and we keep looking at what we've lost, and we're spending so much time focusing on what we've lost that we're not giving attention to what we have, to our blessings, to what is working, to what is still with us. You're neglecting the positive things that you have left, and are at risk of losing those things, or disconnecting from them, or having them disconnect from you. So the challenge here is to pull yourself out of that past, to let go of that past, to let go of the things that you keep focusing on that have already happened and you cannot change. It's done. What's done is done. You can't change that. The goal here is to turn your gaze to what is working, to what you still have, to what is yours. If you can do that, that helps you move forward. Otherwise, you just kind of keep going back to that same pattern and keep ending up in that same place. You have to let go of the past. You have to release that and release your attachment to it so that you can grow from it and move forward, grow forward. And then we have the 3 of Swords. This is where that heartbreak kind of comes in. And maybe even anger at somebody or the situation, and frustration. It's just really pissed you off, is the short way of saying it. Swords are about communication and our thoughts and ideas and our knowledge. And then this is 3 swords through the heart of, in this card, a stag. So there's that piercing feeling through our emotions, through our heart. The idea, stay with me here, the idea of the death of the idea, the ending of the idea, the ending of what you thought was going on, what you hoped maybe was going on, but was not actually going on. So it could be sudden and abrupt, and again, get you angry, get you in your feels. Over time, what you'll come to recognize is that it was the idea of the situation, of the relationship, of whatever it was that you were in love with, but that there was no real connection there. It's not something that was ever going to be long-term. It's not something where there was that connection. So your only choice here is going to be to let it go. Kicking and screaming, yelling, whatever you think you need to do here, but you cannot change it. You cannot force the other people, person, whatever it is, you cannot bend it to your will. It's done. You need to move forward. You will heal from it. Again, you will come to that understanding that your heart is not really involved. Your emotions are not really involved. It was the idea of it. Maybe even the tradition of it is pushing through. So it could be a tradition that is just not being carried forward at this time. And you need to accept that and let it go. So if you kicking and screaming, we're pulling you into the rest of the month. We have the Two of Wands. This is a card about possibility, about dreams. What do you want out of the future? Maybe this is maybe one way that you have processing it for this situation and what's been going on is to write a list. Pros, cons, fears, benefits, whatever it is. What can you do now that that's not part of your life? What are the possibilities now for you? What does that open up for you? Because it does open up something. It does make something possible. You no longer have this connection, this thing that might be been holding you back. Think of that. Was that holding you back in some way? It may have been. What was it holding you back from? What is it that you've always wanted to do, but maybe these other people or whatever it was preventing you from doing or would never have allowed you to do? Perhaps it's travel. Perhaps there's some destination you've always wanted to try. Maybe it's a hobby that you've always wanted to be involved in. Maybe it's a hobby that you've wanted to turn into a career, but it wasn't practical before. But now, that's not their concern anymore, right? This is your life, your decisions. What is best for you? What really feels, not the idea of it, not lashing out in anger of I'm going to show them. What feels right for you? This is be focused on what's best for you, not anything to do with anyone else. The Two of Wands is a card of planning, coming up with the ideas for the future. What is it? And don't limit your dreams. A lot of this is about brainstorming and potential manifestation, starting that manifestation process, starting to plan your future, which is wide open to you. What do you want? That doesn't include this other stuff. What do you want now going forward? And then we have the Wheel of Fortune. It's about change. Things are changing. Things are evolving. You moving on. You finding a bigger, better purpose for you, for what feels right to you. It's a sense of freedom you might be feeling by this point, of having escaped a situation that was not going to be in your best good. It's looking forward to the future and be willing to take those steps forward toward your dream, toward in the direction of your new life, of your new path. taking a stand for yourself, independently of anyone else. And then we have the Nine of Pentacles. This is a card of success, of taking time to appreciate the life you've built for yourself, to appreciate what you have. It could literally be spending time in your garden, in your yard. It could be time spent out in your favorite park or going on a hike or something like that. But it's usually for me, well, I feel like this is out in nature somehow, outside. Or if not outside, maybe a greenhouse or something like that. But where you're really appreciating your environment and having that sense of gratitude and appreciation for the possibilities that are now there for you, that have opened up for you. And almost maybe in some cases even a feeling of having had a lucky break in spite of your initial reaction to what happened. And just being grateful for the opportunities you see before you. So let's see what we have on the bottom of the deck. Justice. Karma. Balance. So yes, you don't need to worry about the other parties in this. There is this sense of justice, of karma, of the scales being balanced. So it could be whatever this was doesn't benefit anybody. It just gets you out of the situation, out of the crossfire. It's like the universe is protecting you, especially long term, from whatever was going on here at the beginning. It gives you the ability to take control of your life instead of being controlled. Yeah, that's what wants to come through there. This is what's supposed to be, and it's in your own best interest to have it happen this way. Because you also needed to go through that experience to have those emotions, again, for your long-term well-being. There's a lot of growth out of this for you. Okay. Now let's see what we have from this oracle deck for you. They're coming over here. Let's have a little fun, right? Let's see what we have here. The calling. Yes. So this whole circumstance, this is all happening here, is to help trigger this change that you have coming up, to help guide you in the right direction, so that you do follow your calling, so that you do start seeing and recognizing the patterns, so you can have a better sense of when to follow your intuition, of when what the right choices are for you. So there's a lot of growth in those areas for you, and expansion, and being able to answer the call when it comes, when you sense it, to go in that direction where before you would not have been able to. You would have been held back. So once you can let go of all that, that opens again up all these different possibilities for you. And you find your own way as you follow your calling. Okay, let's find the card for this one, or the book entry for this one. Here we go. This one is Winterwood, and then the card is called The Calling. Now this is told from the first person perspective of a magical bunny, rabbit in Wandwood. So here we go. Some mornings I wake up to a zaztaculous chorus of birdsong, the outside bathed in the bright zaztaculous promise of a new day, as if calling me to partake in all its waiting splendors. On such mornings, I feel energized, eager to put on my robe and slippers and set about my magical business. Other mornings, it can feel more like a chore. Not that I don't appreciate the privilege of being a magical hare, simply that it takes at least 2 cups of broadleaf brew before I venture outside. If it's a day full of potential glop-ups, I'll need at least 3 cups. And then there are those magical winter mornings, when a fresh fall of overnight snow lies thick on the ground, and a blanket of white silence almost deafens me with its insistent calling. It is quite the most spectacular silence, luring me outside to experience the world made anew, the loudest sound my clouding breath and scrunch of my slippers in the snow. And yet, everything about this moment is also quite full of magical sounds. Too, a resonant chorus of realization that once again, and perhaps at the time when I needed it the most, I hear my own calling, joyfully echoing from every tree in Wandwood, as if I'm magically connected and refilled with my original chosen path and purpose. Doubts drift away on a breeze. Confusion drops and melts on the crisp white snow at my feet. I have heard and answered my calling, and am once more liberated, refreshed, and ready for whatever lies ahead. I have spoken to others about this. Slivert Jute, my good friend and landlord of Winchitdale Inn, says he sometimes feels the same when staring into the embers of the fire after a long, tiring night at the inn. He often talks of a deep contentment and a smile that won't seem to leave his face. Ursula Brifthaven Stoltz, a white hair witch and a lifelong friend, hears her calling whispered over the wind when she's soaring high above the icy seas on her broom. And in many magical ways, it all makes perfect sense. Slivert and Ursula wouldn't feel the same in Wandwood on a snowy morning, just as I wouldn't feel the same by an open fire, or high on a roaring broom. Why would we? Our callings are as magical and unique as we are, and we are each reminded in our different ways. The secret, I suspect, is to recognize when you are called, for in those precious blink snaps, so much of who you are can be reaffirmed. As I make my way back to the cottage, I am careful to tread in the same snowy footprints, leaving a single trail, a different magical hare that first set out, but always sharing the same magical calling. Learn to recognize and answer your own calling when it reaches out to you. Please hit that like button, and please hit subscribe and help me join my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you later.